Good evening. Good evening. Thank you all for being here on today. We're going to start our study regarding the garden. Sometimes they call it lessons from the garden. We'll start there. It's recorded in every gospel, so I will kind of refer to some of them, but I gave you all of the scriptures up front, so you can kind of see where you are. You can go and review those in between our sessions. We'll do part 1 and part 2, and then part 2 will be on Tuesday the 31st, and then part 1 will be on, it's obviously part 1 today. We're going to do a special session on Friday for those who may not, who just want to do like one short session on Friday at 12, so we'll do that this Friday at 12. So I want to give honor to God who's the head of my life. Thank him for honor to all of you leaders. I appreciate everybody's great work. Even last week, I was able to watch the service. I appreciate all your commitment and everything you continue to do. I want to give honor to a beautiful bride. Continue to pray for her and so many others. So thank God for her, and honor to all of you guys, great people who are here, those who are online. Just glad to be in the building, and we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to look at Luke 22. We'll do just a couple of opening verses. Just kind of set a little small part of the scene, and then we'll jump right in. So can somebody get verse 39 and somebody get verse 40?
Jesus went out as usual to the Mount of Olives, and his disciples followed him. It's not really that much, so.
That's you good.
On reaching the place, he said to them, "Pray that you will not fall into temptation."
Amen. God's word is blessed. It's up to us to obey. You can see the purpose there. As far as why we're doing this piece. I think I changed it from my notes, but I got it right. So the purpose is to review and reflect on what Scripture records of all that occurred at the garden while gleaning lessons essential for life. I mean, I'm sure everybody knows about the prayer, or the three prayers. But there is some other juicy stuff that happened, and we're going to talk about those and glean some lessons from. I didn't record. That's not the way I did the subjects, but we will get to all of them. We will get to highlight all of those things. And you can do the reading, on your own. You can kind of see, but there's some good stuff here. So let's introduction. There is no Golgotha without Gethsemane. You all know I like to get to Golgotha. I like to get there. I mean, it's not just a preaching thing. I mean, that's the climax of all we're doing. But without Gethsemane, we will not have that, right? Now, John and Luke's, we read it in there, like Sister Giza read, and thank you for that. I mean, Jesus went there often, and we're gonna talk a little bit. You're gonna see in the notes. We're gonna talk about self-care. So it wasn't in his action-packed life. He took some time. So he came to this place, right? And this is this part is a prelude to that first lesson we're going to get into. How beautiful is a garden? I mean, those different plants and can you hear the sounds of the birds and the crickets? I mean, again, I don't think it's I know it's not an accident that he went there. So that's good for us. We'll talk more about that. I mean, you got trees, you got orchards, plants and flowers and all of that. You got the winds rustling through the leaves. I mean, just imagine that scene. I mean, if you like that kind of thing. It's possible as a stream. Y'all know that sound of water just going through. I mean, that sound. Think about the smell, the different plants. Within a garden. So you can touch some things. You can hear some things. You can smell some things. But look at the scenery. Can you imagine? Have you been to a real nice garden? And some of you may have some. You may have. I mean, it's just a beautiful scene. It's calming, comforting. It's soothing, serene. But juxtapose that with the vicious misery of the sin-stained situation. Look at the beauty of all, like, I mean, look at, I know these are imitation, but isn't that a beautiful sight? But look at imagine all of that beautiful scene, but what Jesus had to go through. And he's already thinking about it. So the garden, geographically, was at the foot of Mount Olives, right? So some of them, when you do the reading, some of them say he went to Mount Olives. But they say that because it was at the foot, it was at the bottom of Mount Olives, but it also was between Mount Olives and the Temple Mount. He could see the temple, or the temple could see the temple, or the temple could see him. Y'all getting me distracted. He could see that from this mount. Now, Gethsemane, the meeting. Some of y'all already know it. Olive press. That's the meaning of they use this big rounded wheeled rock, and they had a big giant basin, and they either pushed it or a mule grind and smash the olives to get the oil out of it. And that's a vivid picture of what Jesus will go through. So that's, again, the name, the place, and none of this is not coincidental. This is not just good information. Matter of fact, many of them, there are olive groves and olive trees, many olive trees in that area. So again, that's kind of where we are. Again, more of the context. You know, this is during Holy Week. Thursday is called Maundy Thursday. Maundy Thursday. It's from a Latin word, mandamus. So when Jesus told them to love one another, he told them that this day. John chapter 15, other places. This is the day he said, like, in John, I think 13 through 17, almost everything is read. All that was said on this Thursday. So they named that Maundy comes from that Latin word mandamus, which means commandment, like I said. So picture it. Before he got to the garden, he just administered the Last Supper. That's when it happened. That happened on that Thursday. Now, when he told them about his body broken and his blood shed, he was not just speaking poetically or uninformed. When he talked about his body being broken, I wonder if he felt them whipping and ripping through his body. Y'all not listening to me. See, when we don't know everything. Sometimes we have a feeling. He knew every single thing that was going to happen to him. So when he broke that bread, imagine it. He also washed their feet. He washed the feet that would walk away from him. And he knew it. Are y'all listening? Y'all see where we're going? He fed the lips that would betray him, deny him, and doubt him when he gave them that bread. He told them who would betray him. If y'all read it, he told them. He said, the one who dips in Judah, and sometimes you think you want to know, and sometimes you may know, but God won't release you to connect with it. So he actually told them, but they could do nothing about it. Do y'all see the scene? He told Judas, he told him to go do what you got to do. And he knew what he was going to do. He gave him permission. I give you permission. Go do it. So this, I'm telling you, this is what's going on right before it. And I'm going to talk about separation in the garden. But that wasn't the first separation. This is the first separation. When Judas left, one man died. He lost one out of his 12. So this is the scene. This is where we are. That will all that happened. There's some other things, other details in there, but again, that's some of the things he went through. Now we're gonna go to the first official point: a lesson on self-care. That's what we're gonna talk about. A lesson on self-care. So he left. They left the room. They went to the garden. Now, y'all don't laugh. I thought it was just the three of them. All 11 went to the garden. All 11 went to the garden. If you read all four of the accounts, you'll see the difference. So all three went to the gardens, and then you have the second separation. Now let's talk about this. We talk about self-care, right? He went there often. Historians report he went there every night of Holy Week. Y'all ever had one? Man, I need to just chill. Listen, this is a rough week. He went there every night. That's what some of the historians say for that. So we talk about the scenery. And I purposely tried to paint that picture. Probably get Lauren. He can paint a more vivid picture for you on that scenery. But there is not only inherent beauty there. There's healing and calming qualities in nature. When you go, have you ever been to, what are some of the beautiful places you all went to as far as visiting? Just natural places. Anybody? You went to any nice places, a beach or something like that? There's some goodness in that. But that's not just for nature's sake. That's God's design. Now, I know we got some nice man-made stuff, but there's some beautiful natural stuff out there. Just by itself, it will blow. It's just the beauty of that. And that's helpful for us to see. Let's flip it. Or let's just go a different angle. So vitamin D comes from being exposed to the sun. You can get the medicine, but you're only given the medicine if you don't have the exposure to the sun. Just being out in the sun, again, that's healthiness, right? Think about honey. I'm just talking about nature, right? Self-care. What they tell you about as far as buying honey, they recommend you get it local because it has the natural qualities that will help you in your natural surroundings, right? So what if, along with obeying God's word, appreciating the world he created with his intended purpose would decrease some issues? You understand what I'm saying? What if I say, I don't care about that? And I'm not saying we all got to be outside people, but what if we're missing something when you don't just look at the stars sometimes? You understand what I'm saying? So there's some beauty, and self-care does not mean, when I say self-care, that's not a under the table way of saying don't get mental health assistance. That's not what we're saying. It's just that there are some qualities in enjoying nature. And again, that's what, it's very hard to say that Jesus did not go there for some of those qualities, okay? But it's not all or nothing. You gotta do you gotta be obedient, right? You gotta do the other things that you need to do as well. Now, why do I say that? Sometimes those natural things, it can help discover the root cause of our issue as we take advantage of the help you get from self-care. You understand what I'm saying? So let's say for some things, all you need to do is just take a walk and enjoy it. Let's say that can handle just a few things. Then when you get the help you need, or you focus on your prayer, you can focus on other issues that needs to be handled, and not just that can just be handled by just walking on the beach, letting the soft sand just go through your on your toes and stuff like that. So again, just a highlight. Any points? Somebody want to say something?
When I think about self-care, I think about a lot of people when they talk about holistic care. When they into that nature type things. to better themselves from sickness and illness and things of that nature, right? But what kind of trips me sometimes is that what they think they're doing from a natural perspective is the same meds that doctors use because they get it from natural things.
Absolutely.
You know, you think about the coca plant, okay? Some people take it pounding in cocaine, right? All of a sudden now it becomes a bad thing. But it's a good thing if it's used right.
That's it.
You know, so all these medicines that man have made and man have put together, it all comes from nature.
Absolutely.
You know, so when I hear someone talk about, well, I don't take those meds and this stuff and that stuff because of this, I take all this natural stuff. But that's natural too. They just put additives to it to make it a stronger source.
Now, to their point, now you're spot on.
Yeah.
To their point, I think they have a point on the synthetic stuff. But some of those things, you know, do have some natural mixing and additives and stuff like that. But your point is right. Your point is right.
And let me go back to the father. When you talked about how the plants and beauty, the butterflies, and listening to the water, the streaming, and all that stuff take place, well, the Garden of Gethsemane wasn't nothing like that. And I know some of y'all thinking, wait a minute, hold on, B. It wasn't. It was a trove of olive trees that was there, right? So it really didn't have. It never talked about it in the Bible either. It didn't have all these beautiful things, the water streaming and all that stuff. What made it beautiful was when Jesus went to it. That's what made it beautiful because of what he was doing for all of us. That made it a beautiful thing, but he knew that he had to go there in order to save the world. But it really wasn't a picturesque place where you think about the flowers, the streaming water and all that type of stuff.
I would say yes, exactly like a different garden, but there was inherent beauty of it just like how it was.
Yeah,
It's just
beautiful.
different than,
But Jesus made it beauty. The fact that he was there. Because I did some reading on this. And they didn't talk about how beautiful it was. They talked about the scenery itself because of what Jesus had to go through when he got there.
I'm with you, but I think when it comes to that, when it comes to like for example, let's use a mountainous terrain. That's what it was.
Right.
There is beauty in that. Again, it's not your use of beauty is as if it's like when you go to Opryland. No, I was just using that as an example. Yeah.
It wasn't nothing like that.
Yeah, I understand that. But as it was as a garden, there is inherent beauty in it, just like how it was. That's why it's still preserved. So I see what you're saying, but it's not. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Just like you go to the desert.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the desert is beauty.
Yes.
I got on that.
No, Sharon.
Yeah.
Actually, I was just making a point.
Mhm.
You hear like you were just saying, inherent of beauty. You can go to the desert, and the desert is to some people like you lived up there. When we were there, it was like, ugh, you know, I can't wait to get away from it. But as we grew, we went back out there, and to me there was a beauty about it that I didn't see before because my eyes were more open to it. So I get it.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, it's different types of things. But yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, I see what you're saying. And I agree. I'm not saying it was exactly like Opryland and stuff. That's not my point. I was using that as an example, a point of reference. However, there is an inherent beauty in that. In that way.
And the inherent beauty in it, you know, it goes back to what I said earlier. The inherent beauty of it, not just talking about the picturesque part of it, but the inherent beauty of it was that the fact that he went there to save us.
Absolutely. That's the main point. Yeah. I'm with you. Brother Owens, you had a hand up?
I think that when I look at it, it was a place that he always went. I mean, as far as the beauty of it was that to me, it was a place that he could identify with himself in prayer to God. It was a scenery where it exuded a peace for him.
Absolutely.
So that he could really focus. And a lot of times that's what when we go to prayer, we go to a place. We don't go to, you know, a place in our home or a place if we have to pray at our job. We don't go to a place that's cluttered. We go to a place that has a little bit of substance, but a place of secrecy for us to surrender at that time before the throne of grace. We're giving ourselves to God. I don't think, to me, and I could be wrong, I don't think the scenery has anything to do with it. The place that we go to is a place that we are showing God our humbleness, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, that's all a part of it. The reason why I highlighted the scenery of that garden is because he went there, and it's not an accident, why he went there. That's not the main point. I mean, that's just the focus there is self-care for us to do that. So we all may find a place, and you all alluded to this. It may be a different place for you due to your experience, but for him, this was that place. But we'll see some other things. Any other points? Let's go to the next one. A lesson on levels of relationships. Okay, so they all went there multiple times. So we talked about the all of the disciples went to the garden, but he had the first separation. The first separation, or the next separation with Peter, James, and John. Okay, his inner circle. All right, the same three that was there on the Mount of Transfiguration. All right, he had that separation. So there was the eight disciples. They stayed in one area, and he took the other three a little further. Right now, when we look at the text, let's see, Matthew 26, and let's see, 37. He took he took them, and he began to start grieving. It puts it together. In fact, let's see. Let's go there.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, if you already have it, you can read it.
It says, and he took Peter and the two sons of Zebedee with him and began to grieve and distress.
Okay. All right, so here it is. He did it connects his actual demonstration of grief and distress when he made the separation of those three. So remember, we're talking about our folks now. We're talking about relationship now. In Mark's gospel, he also called his father. That's one of this is the first time you see the Abba, right? That's actually Aramaic, but it's talking about in prayer. In prayer, that's an intimate use of or title for father. So again, part of his distress. So he took his close three, then he started. But when he prayed, he also used that again. This is all climaxing to how he's feeling. And what I want to ask, relationships, how do you respond to a child's desperate call? Think about that. It's not just he can't be compared to no one else, but he is crying out, right? He is hurting, all right. We're really building some of the critical things we want to talk about. I want us to think about this, right? Now think about it. You hear, and people, you got the whole crying wolf, you got the manipulation, but when you hear your child or somebody really, or any child for some time, if you hear a real, authentic pain, what do? But we all know Jesus will not get an answer here. But it does not mean he was not heard. He would not get an answer here. I want you to think, and now again, talk about relationships, right? He's praying, he's crying out. Let's see. Make sure I got the right. In verse 38, he mentions, my soul is deeply grieved to the point of death. Remain here and keep watch with me. So he started, first he started showing his grief. Then he actually mentioned it to the inner circle. The 8 didn't get this. He mentioned it and he asked them to watch and pray. Relationships. Jesus did not tell everybody about his deep struggles. Okay, we talk less about relationships. Are you with me? Why should we? It's not about, again, we got it. It's not about, it's just certain people, as you are connected, you're led by God. There's certain deep things. We're not talking about anything that's appropriate, anything like, there's a protocol, at your house. There's a protocol at your job. There's a protocol at your, not talking about that kind, but there's some things that there's some feelings that they're below the radar. They're significant for you, but they're below the radar of any type of protocol. And Jesus, the only way we could, he did this here, right? And this is where our that use of discernment. Okay, we say it, we use it for a lot of things, but that's how we can use it. But here's the challenge for us, because I know there's a couple of ways I can approach this. This is how I was led to do this. Right? All 11 of them were saved. Jesus only told 3. Right? Now, like I said, it wasn't information that was required. It was his innermost struggles. Here's the question. The question should not be, why did he not tell the 8? That's not the question. A better question is, who are we between the 8 and the 3? Yeah. Who are we? Right? Now, all of us will have an 8. You understand what I'm saying? Just that separation. All of us have an 8 and 3. But the question is, when it comes to the 3, am I the type of person who can be trusted to be a 3? Y'all not listening to me. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not talking about being some groupie. Can I be your 3? That's not what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about living a stand-up life. Somebody they know they can trust you. Who has us as a 3? Are we worth taking further in the garden? Matter of fact, let's talk about it. Everybody, only 11 were taken to the garden. Jesus didn't say, do what you got to do and come back so I can take you to the garden. Judas he got fed the Lord's Supper, but he wasn't told, come back to the garden. So it ain't bad to be the 8. You understand what I'm saying? And let's go this way. Saints, this Christian maturity. We all should be in a place where we can be that 3. We can be that person, right? The human level of trust, human level of confidentiality. Now, here's a mistake we do. We try to put people on God's level. Nobody gets that. Nobody gets that. The spouse is the closest relationship next to Christ. There's no debate to that. However, nobody gets on the same level of God when it comes to your trust, in our trust in our confidentiality. How do we get there? Spiritual disciplines and tools, like the things we get through sanctification and transformation and renewing of the mind. The purpose of that, like remember we talked about that renewing of the mind and all of that, Romans 12, 1 and 2, all of that. Listen, this maturity I'm talking about, that ain't nothing new. We may approach it different from the text. That's not new. His aim for maturing us, his aim for sanctifying us. His aim for transforming us is to make us just like him. So that's supposed to be that's our pathway. We all should be. I'm not saying everybody's going to be everybody's 3, but we all should be en route and worthy of having such connections. You have questions, son?
No.
Okay. All right. So let's go. This is the long. I don't know. I hope we do. Let's go to. This is the last part for part 1. This is the longest part. Lessons on dealing with inevitable struggles. So we're gonna kind of going a little bit back, but so we still in the same spot, right? He went, right? We know he did. He prayed. He went 3 times. He would keep going back. We're going to drill down on this struggle piece, right? He prayed the first prayer, right? Matthew and Mark, they kind of flow through it. But I want to. Luke did something. Look at Luke 24 and 43. Or probably 22 and 43. 22 and 43. Luke 22 and 43. Now an angel from heaven appeared to him, strengthening him. So, like I said, he when he went with the 3, he was already distressed. Then he told them he was distressed. And his prayer, if it be, you will remove this cup, right? We'll talk about that, right? Well, so the cup. The cup is a representation of the wrath of God. Okay? So he did not deserve the wrath of God. And he was helping people with so why is he distressed? And we're going to get to that. I want you to keep that in the back of your mind. So he's struggling, right? His only reason for coming down here was to do this. But he's struggling.
He was in human form at that point.
Yes.
Okay.
But, okay.
And we're weak. So if you're in human form, then you have that fear.
So was he not God?
Yes. He was also in human form.
I know.
He's both.
I know. Absolutely. So again, he's showing, and you're exactly right. He's showing his humanity,
Yes.
just like we have, right? But the key is, if we watch him, even in him being 100% man and 100% God, and us showing this, let's look at how he shows us. But you're exactly right. And so back to where we were, the angel. So they came. So that's tough. So look at this. So angels assisted. This is not the first time angels assisted him. They did it. He did it. He got assisted during the fast. During the fast, remember we talked about that. Historians say when you do an extended fast, there's a point where the hunger pains go away. When they come back, you're near the point of death. So they helped him. That was a physical piece. Now it's not physical. It's spiritual. He was again in his humanity. He was struggling. Angels came down. So it's just a picture. Now, can we identify with that? No. But it's good for us to see that's how much. And he did this for the stuff we keep on doing. Over and over again, we know he's not pleased with. Right? So they assisted him with a near-death experience. Now he got assisted with a pre-death experience. But this weighed on him, right? But that's not the only point of his struggle. Verse 44 recorded him bleeding as drops of blood. Now, there's a couple ways. I mean, there's so many things to say, but I'll put it to you this way. Even if it wasn't blood, even if he wasn't doing anything physical, he was praying. If you are at a rest, supposedly at a resting physical state, and you are sweating that heavy, that shows struggle. But also, some of the historians say that, the capillary vessels bursted, mixed the blood with sweat, so that there's a condition that he went through. So that's a possibility. So, but either case, that's struggle. Struggling. Now, similar to what I was saying before, think about it. Why? We struggle, not only myself, we struggle with things we caused. He didn't cause none of this. He caused no problems for no one. Matter of fact, and he is solving, he's helping. Why would he not feel good about helping? Think about this. And I think one of the greatest lessons for us to learn regarding his struggle is struggle with the wrath of God. So remember, we talked about that wrath in the cup, right? And so it's not. I think we cannot fully compare it to Jesus, but I like this angle right here, right? Our struggle doesn't always have to be due to our sin. Matter of fact, this can revolutionize the way we look at how we live our lives, right? All right? And of course, we can't resolve sin like Jesus did, right? Jesus' struggle was the fact, part of Jesus' struggle was the fact that God had to administer his wrath on him. And it's not, he knew, listen to what I'm saying, I want to split it even better. So it's not, he knew he had to do that. It wasn't that it was on him, it is that God had to do it. Yeah. The Father had to do this to his son. So he was he also was struggling on the fact because he never was separated from him. He never disobeyed him. But he had to sit in a place where God had to do that. And again, we cannot do it the same way, but it can be a game-changing goal for us. This is a better posture to have for us. Again, I'm just talking about lessons from struggle, right? For us, we can look at it this way. Watch. I know God is done. I know God is just. I do not want him to have to correct me, so I'm striving to do right. I know he's just, right? So again, that's a whole nother way of looking. I don't want to get caught, or I don't want God to have to do this to me. I don't want him. I want to do the right thing for that sake. Again, just angle. Any questions or any points?
When he was praying, God never answered his prayer.
Yep.
When he talked about remove the covenant, be thy will, right? But then I'm thinking he did not answer the prayer because it was something that had to be done.
Absolutely.
And the Father was grieving too because he had to do it. But what he did when he said, and now an angel appeared, makes me think that, well, he didn't verbally answer his prayer, but he sent that angel to strengthen him through what he was going through.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact.
So,
There's no recording.
so there was no verbal answer, but there was an act.
Absolutely. I'm with you. I'm with you. Now, there's more. Watch this. So, of course, we know about the struggle from Jesus' perspective, but there's something that we may miss from the disciples' perspective. So, we know that they fell asleep, and typically we look at it as, oh, and them jokers just fell asleep. But Luke said, sleep from sorrow. Now, get it? So it wasn't just falling asleep. So in other words, they were struggling too. This time it weighed on them as well. Yeah.
They get depressed. That's what they do.
Absolutely. So again, this is lessons from struggle. So again, now we know the main thing is what Jesus is going through. This is not taking attention away from that. But Luke is helping us look at it, right? But his approach to them was also another lesson. Even if you sleep for whatever reason, even if it's sleep and sorrow, Jesus gave the solution, right? So if we just sleep or soak in our sorrow, you will find yourself yielding to temptation. So even though the sleep wasn't just them, missing their responsibility, even though some of them were in sorrow, you still have to do the right thing. And Matthew said, watch and pray. The spirit is willing. Jesus said that the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. All right. He was telling them, watch this. Mark added, their eyes were heavy and did not know what to say. Man, I'm trying to finish this. Mark added, we talked about struggle, right? From the disciples' perspective, watch this. They taught us something about silence. Y'all know this. If you do not know what to say, follow their example. Just don't say nothing. That's straight from the text, right? Who said that, right? Sometimes it's God. Sometimes it's good to speak through your presence. You don't have to worry about trying to say this or trying to find this to say, right? Now, to Jesus' point, if we do not pray, the only other option is temptation. If we do not pray, if we're not focused on what he wants us to do. So when it comes to these struggles, this is deep struggle, right? There is no struggle worse than this. And he's telling us the solution. Why would we say, man, I don't care about that Bible stuff, I don't care about that prayer stuff. I just need to do this, or give me some time. Listen, we must never take prayer off of the table, right? He did not just say, do this. He did this. No answer in all, he prayed. Saints, and I want to encourage us, and I want to challenge us. Though the disciples' feelings and thoughts could not compare to his, it was hard for them, like I mentioned before. They were not just asleep. And that goes to, another thing. So, they all were crushed. Jesus, of course, that's the epitome of being crushed. Like we talked about olive. But disciples, they had their little piece as well. The solution was prayer. This does not mean, like I mentioned before, we don't get professional help if that comes into play. But there are some things where only Christ can resolve. And that's one thing we want to share. We want to share with people, especially when it comes to eternal life. There's no human professional that can give eternal life outside of the way it's outlined in Scripture. And that's the answer to the biggest struggle we'll all have. Again, this is not playing with words. We're not dismissing mental health professionals, but we're understanding the priority of the things we need spiritually. Jesus prayed to or came to the Father. He prayed to and came to the Father. He did not run from it. I listened to him. So as we encourage people, a lot of people, they get in the bind, they run. They get in struggle, they run. Or they stop. Jesus didn't do it. He came. Even in his struggles. We talk about this. We talk about the olive press. Scholars also report that the olive, they did it 3 times. They crushed the olives 3 times to get the maximum oil out of it. Could that be also another relation to the 3 prayers and the struggle he went through, right? Just so he can do all the things that he needed to do. He's the anointed one. What is used to anoint? Oil. What is the preponderance of the oil used in the Bible? Olive oil. There are other oils, but olive oils is the main one used for biblical anointing. This is wonderful, right? So here it is, another tree in the garden, crushed, but prepared to be used by God. God He never wastes your tears and your struggles. And there's some value in every situation. You may be going through something right now, whatever it is. He never wastes it. He can get the glory if we do what we want. Even the ones we cause an error, he will get us to turn, right? When we turn to him, he'll turn it around. So I want to encourage us, saints, as we finish this piece. Do not allow the enemy to stop you in the struggle. He's getting success. He's stopping people in the struggle. And if you look at the Bible is bleeding. The Bible is sweating examples of people struggling, but they're giving God glory. And of course, Jesus in Gethsemane is the epitome of that. Any questions or any points? Yes, sir.
This Bible study to me has encouraged me because I'm going through something really deep. And I know about the prayer part, but sometimes I wake up in the morning and I'm led to pray, but I struggle. But I still pray. And my situation, I'm looking forward to change because I still have memories when I wasn't in that situation. But I battle with that. And I understand where Jesus says, talks about the temptation. But there's still temptation. And we have to battle through that. I have to battle through that to stay focused in trusting God. Even when all the conflict and the confusion. Because here we're dealing with, like the scriptures say, principalities and powers. We're dealing with that in that situation. When depression comes in, we still got to operate in hope. You see what I'm saying? But see, the thing is we want to see the hope manifest, but we have to endure, like the scriptures say. We have to continue to endure and stay faithful. And how can you stay faithful when you don't see no results?
Let me ask you this.
But I'm not saying I don't believe.
No, I'm with you. I'm talking with you.
Mm-hmm.
And this, we talked about, and there's more, and we're going to talk about more.
Mm-hmm.
What we talked about Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
was it easy?
I'm sorry?
What we talked about Jesus going through this,
Mm-hmm.
was it easy?
No.
But he did.
Right, let's dig that. Yeah.
And it's here for us. So just
Right.
encourage you. You're there. So again, it wasn't, because some people were like, oh man, if you just do this and again, this was difficult, but he still did it.
But
I'm going to tell you, we're gonna talk.
I'm sorry. I just want to say this. Sometimes we fall in that struggle, and we gotta pick ourselves back up again.
That's how we ended. I
Yeah.
said, don't
Yeah.
let the enemy stop you in the
Right.
struggle.
Right.
And he's getting success.
Right.
He'll get you.
Yeah.
Listen, and sometimes it's just a little while longer.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little while longer and it's done. And he'll get you to dig in.
Mm-hmm.
He'll get you to dig in something that we got to go. He'll get you to dig in something that you're almost out of.
Amen.
So I'm with you. But yeah, you can be impressed too. So we're going to hit. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
But I just want to say this one thing. When you in those tough spots like that, this is, I know we read today, but this is not the only time, and this is not the only person that when you find yourself at that toughest point,
Mm-hmm.
God don't send you an angel.
Mm-hmm.
He don't send you a comfort. You know, you got a comfort out there. He gonna send you an angel,
Mm-hmm.
and to take you over, and that when you at that toughest point,
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna send you an angel, and he's gonna send a word of encouragement to you.
Amen.
All you gotta do is just be successful,
Be
listen,
open and listen.
and
Mm-hmm.
listen. So just hang on in there.
And some things will be difficult, but all things work together. Matter of fact, it starts out, and we know. So the believer is supposed to know that all things work together for the good of them that love God and are called according to his purpose. So even the tough struggles, if you got to go through it, it got to work out for you. So so we'll do part two. We'll do part two on next Tuesday. I'm gonna do a condensed piece on Friday. But again, I thank God for each and every last one of you. The feedback. Looking forward to this. Of course, we meet on tomorrow. I'll send out the Fasting Focus family I think it's out of Second Timothy 1, I think 1 through 7, but I'll send that out. We're doing, till 6 on tomorrow for those. Again, that's a great way to help. Some things coming up by prayer and fasting. So thank God for each and every last, one of you. We ask for, Sister Karen, can you pray for us, please?
Heavenly Father, we want to give you thanks, Lord, for allowing us to sit and study about what our Lord and Savior went through during his last days here on this earth. Father, sometimes we do take it for granted, but I thank you, God, for just allowing us to remember and to give you praise and honor and glory and thanksgiving for all that you sacrificed for us, Lord. We love you. And continue, Holy Spirit, to remind us that the struggles that we have, they're not ours alone, that you're with us. And we thank you for that right now. And Father, as we continue to go through this Holy Week and Easter coming, Lord, we ask that we just continue to be mindful of all you continue to do in our lives and the lives of others. Lord, we pray that we will continue to be a light here on this corner, and that we will point people to you. And let us get it in ourselves right first, Lord. We know that you are our God, and that you are the God of our salvation. That's all we need to know. And we need to share that with others. What you've done for us will last. And we thank you, God. Bless us as we're apart from one another, and continue to keep us safe. In Jesus' name.
And God bless you all. Have a great night. Looking forward to, for those who were able to make it on a Friday, for those who are live. And then, we'll be, see you on Sunday as well. Hope Day. I mean, not Hope Day, Hope Academy. God bless you all.